What's up and good morning, guys? Welcome back to another video. As you can see, I'm here at Work for It World Headquarters 2.0, and the problem with having like multiple places where you keep stuff is you tend to sometimes forget things like charging cables and all the important stuff to run camera equipment. So that's why I'm here this morning. Now that being said, I got good news. I got a call from Preston saying, hey man, your truck is ready, the front camera setup's all done. Come check it out. So that's where we're gonna head right now. We'll roll over to Preston's and check out the truck. When we pulled up, I noticed this other Dmax out here sitting out front. It's like a brushed black steel wrap on it. That's actually kind of a cool look. I wish we could see what it looked like clean, but I actually dig that. It's not just a matte black. I don't know if it's gonna pick that up on camera, but running a CST kit on some Moto Metal wheels and some Toyos. So 38s on 18s. That's that'll probably tickle a lot of the really small wheel, big tire guys' fancy here. 18s on 38s. It's not something you see very often. I like how he left the 4x4 badging underneath as well. And then they just wrapped over top of it, which basically makes it like embossed in there. It's good to see the old girl out here shining in the sun. Let's see where Preston got the camera mounted. All right. Looks super clean. You can barely see its back there. Zach, what are we doing to this thing, bro? We're pulling it back apart?
Smaller.
We're going smaller?
Smaller.
Hold on a second. You want me to call him up?
He can't fit where he parks at his house, so you gotta make it smaller.
No, the solution to that is you get a bigger house. You don't make your truck smaller.
Or you just park it on the street.
Or you spend a lot of money for a warehouse.
Yeah.
Making it smaller. Come on, TJ. What are you thinking, buddy? This truck looks beautiful. So here's a little comparison of the Ford front camera that came factory on this F-150. I mean, they hide it pretty good behind the actual emblem, especially if this truck was stock. Like, you'd really have to bend down to see it, but being lifted, you kind of look right at it. I'm more a fan of it being tucked in behind the grill and hidden, but obviously, if I would have bought a Ford, I wouldn't have to be putting a front camera on my truck. What are we doing to this thing? New engine? New whole bunch of everything. New valve cover gaskets. Okay, at least it's a lot less sketchy than cranking my shocks up.
Super sketchy in your truck.
So I get asked by a lot of people that want to do a budget lift kit, and we all know how we feel about budget lift kits. But if you're on a tight budget, what do you think somebody should go with? What's a cheap budget lift kit that's not gonna like fly off going down the freeway?
Probably this.
PDS is not budget.
Well, I will not say Pro Comp, and I'm not gonna say Rancho. So.
Okay.
No, I don't know what you want me to tell you right now.
Listen, I'm not good at recommending budget stuff either. So I was thinking maybe the guy that installs them, but if you just heard it from the guy that installs them,
bad. Just don't expect a lot.
Yeah, like it'll get your truck up in the air,
Yeah,
but ride quality is gonna go
apart. Nothing's gonna
right.
break right off the bat. But it's like you get your finishes are different. The powder coat tends to chip off because you gotta not necessarily cut corners, but don't go over and above to get that little bit for
right.
Got to make it as cheap as you can.
So you're saying you get what you pay for?
Exactly.
Save up the money and buy yourself.
If you're gonna lift it, all honesty, put a spacer in it. If you need to get something done, and just save for what you want.
All right, let's see how our setup looks here. Looks like they left the plastic on for me. Appreciate that. Oh man, this hurts to do. This hurts to do. We gotta do it. We gotta pull it off. So if you guys haven't seen what the edge monitors look like, I mean, a lot of people at this point are running them. They're pretty simple. You can change kind of the gauge layout. I don't really know how to get into the settings quite yet. Let's see. No. Oh, well, we can change the color. Let's go back. No color. Cancel. Home. So on top of being able to monitor a lot of the gauges that your truck doesn't offer, and of course we are low on fuel, that's kind of standard for me, it enables you to hook up a camera to it, which I'm trying to get to come on now. All right, so I think we've gotten it figured out here. It's all about where you touch the screen, and I know it's gonna be hard to see because of the sun out there, but basically the edge monitor, like you touch the screen at different spots and it does different things. So that's probably what most people have it on. Is obviously this gauge, and you can switch each one of these gauges out to whatever you want it to be. And then for camera, you touch the left side over here and it brings up the front camera. Now, unfortunately, it does show a little bit more of the grill on the bottom side of the screen there than I would have liked. But if we can find Zach here, we'll let him walk in front of the truck and see just how well it shows. I want to see if I can see a child in front of the truck. Can you walk by? All right, get closer. Closer.
Your little TV work?
Oh yeah, I think we're good, man. I think we'll be able to see a child. It actually looks really cool. Now that it's in the sunlight, you can see the copper on the powder coat.
That's right.
Right? All right, go walk by like a foot away from the truck.
A foot?
A foot away from the truck. Oh yeah. All right, this is gonna work out. Oh yeah, we can see you, buddy. We can't see you out the side window. So the original plan with the front camera setup was that it was gonna be on a switch, which it actually is on a switch down here. Kinda, I mean, I don't know how the lighting is right now. It's a little hard to see. But underneath this panel is where I have all my switches. And Preston actually put the camera on a switch, but the edge doesn't recognize like a switch interrupter. So kind of in the way that your backup camera comes onto your screen when you put it into reverse, that's because it's getting a signal off of, say, your tail lights or whatever it may be, or your reverse lights, I should say, telling it that there is now power and it'll automatically interrupt your main screen. Edge didn't really have that incorporated, at least that Preston was able to find. I haven't really dug through the settings either, so I don't know. I mean, it's even hard enough just to navigate around that thing. Now, I saw a couple people in the comment section when I first proposed the idea of the front camera saying, what do you need a front camera for? Don't you know how to drive your truck? And, you know, obviously to that, you guys have heard me in the past say, listen, if you're teaching your kid to drive, don't give them a vehicle that has sensors on it, backup camera, front camera, any of that stuff, because they're not going to develop the skills to actually know the vehicle. Trust me, I grew up and learned to drive on a vehicle that didn't have any of that. And it makes you a better driver, absolutely. Now, once you get into vehicles of this size range, you know, the old saying is true, it is better safe than sorry. If you're at a stoplight and there's a car that is really close to in front of you, if you're looking out that windshield, it's really hard to see, and if you forget there's a car there, something bad may happen. Or say you got a kid walking across in front of the truck at an intersection, like, you want to be able to see all the way around this vehicle. And to me, it's kind of like having a smoke detector in your house. Like, yeah, eventually you're gonna feel the flames and you're gonna know there's a fire, or you can have this little bit of added security and you'll be you know, a little bit safer. And I mean, if you guys look at my hitch setup, this hitch sticks out probably 16 inches off the back of the truck, and having a backup camera enables me to put that really close to either the car behind me or a wall if I'm backing into a parking spot, which allows me to get further off of the street or whatever we're sticking out into. And that's not to say I don't know the truck. I can put this truck in a lot of really small places, but am I gonna risk hitting something on the back there because I think I can get an extra inch? Like, you know, if we're talking real precision, it's better to have the camera. This front camera setup didn't cost me much. The edge monitor was the most expensive part of it, and obviously, you know, most people running tunes want the edge monitor anyway. I just hadn't put it in yet. And then the camera itself was like a $20 Amazon camera, not that big of a deal. And then while we're here, me and Zach were talking about getting the train horn setup done on this truck. Now, obviously on my last truck, the train horns went right where the compressors and the tanks are, and then my tank actually sat in the rear area right here, kind of sideways. This truck, as you can see, obviously we're kind of limited on space because we've got the extreme air compressors, we've got the two tanks here. It's really taking up a lot of space. So our original plan was moving these tanks over to the sides here inside the fender well, but obviously, like, we'd cut off these brackets on each side and mount the two tanks there, and then that would give us a little bit more room to slide the giant train horn up in there. And while we're here, let's drain some of the liquid out of the tanks. Let's go take it for a test drive. We got a perfect instance. We got a guy walking across the intersection there. We can see him perfectly on camera. Look at that. That was a great test right off the bat. It's a little trippy to see while you're driving, but it's gonna end up being essentially like your mirrors, like in the way that you kind of take a quick glance over at your left or your right mirror. It's gonna be the same thing with the front camera. And mainly this is gonna be for, like I said, when you're stopped at like a stoplight and you wanna make sure there's nothing in front of you before you start going again, that's when that's gonna come into play. Or if you're pulling up to something and you gotta pull up pretty dang close on the front. So here's a good test. There is currently a Toyota Camry in front of me. And I mean, you can barely see his roof. But now that we have the front camera, we know for a fact there's now a Toyota Camry in front of me. So it was nice to be in the lap of luxury for a little bit there, but we have switched back to the old 7.3. Yesterday, my pressure washer for the warehouse actually showed up. I don't have it with me, unfortunately, or I would show you guys. But I want to get all of the piping done to get water from the deionized tanks to the end of the warehouse where I'm going to be mounting the pressure washer. So we're going to get that done today, and then hopefully tomorrow or the next day, whenever I get another free time, we're going to end up building the whole shelving unit and installing the pressure washer. All right, we're at the landscape store, or landscape supply store, to get our PVC. So the reason I came to a landscape supply store versus going to Home Depot is I wanted to run 20-foot pieces of pipe, as you can see. Honestly, I'm struggling to carry them right now without dragging them on the ground. Now, obviously, if you guys are doing this at your house, you don't need to run 20 footers. The reason I chose to go that route is, to me, the less couplings, the less connections, the less joints, the less risk there ever is to leak. And I honestly never measured the warehouse, so I hope we got enough. Oh, it looks like our helper showed up. Why are you hiding in the dark office? Chris, why you gotta be so creepy, dude? Oh. Jeez.
Shh, keep it down. We don't want to make the neighbor mad.
Fuck that guy. Oh yeah, go ahead, tap my fridge, because you didn't get us one.
I think we need to like reverse it. Turn it around.
Flip it upside down?
Yeah.
It'll still work. So my original plan was I was gonna run that PVC like, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and then just run it all the way over there. But now that I think about it, with the amount of like anchoring we would have to do to make it so it didn't sag when the water's in it, and to eliminate if there's ever a leak, I don't want it to pour on the wall, obviously. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is just running it along the edge of the wall there, and keep it on the ground. That way I don't have to anchor it, other than at the 2 points that we're gonna be hooking it up to the pressure washer as well as the deionized tanks. And you know, like it could lay on the ground. It's probably the safest place for it. I mean, if anything, you know, a basketball came flying at it, the basketball's not gonna be able to hit it because it's gonna hit the wall first. Find out if we have enough. 1, 2, and 3, with a 20-foot stick left over to make our 2 risers. All right, well, we got about as far as we can get today. So basically what I did, obviously all this is gonna be anchored to the wall. I just don't have the anchors with me. Didn't get a chance to run over there, but I'm running the pipe over. It is 90'd up behind the tanks here. It's going to get another connection. I didn't have the right connection either. I need to put a female end for the hose there. So it's gonna get another 6-foot hose, basically like this. It's gonna come from the output side of the 2 tanks into the PVC, which is going to shoot it all the way down to our model Chris over there, who is, I don't know, drawing on the wall or something. And then at some point, I'm sure I'm gonna OCD out and have to spray paint all of this pipe black because I don't like seeing it stand out against the black code base there. And then over on this end, I opted obviously to leave it against this wall because, well, this wall's drywall, that wall is concrete. And I didn't feel like anchoring it to the concrete, even though the whole pressure washer setup is going to be anchored to the concrete. I also didn't put it in on this one because I want to get that in place before I decide just really how high I want that riser. So I left it off so we can cut it shorter if need be. But essentially, we are moving in the right direction of getting the pressure washer set up, and then we can charge Chris like $60 to come use it, right, buddy? What?
You used mine like twice.
All right, twice calculated.
Mine was 100, so.
But I based it off of like what it costs to use mine, right?
No.
It's not my fault. Yours costs more to run than mine.
It really doesn't.
You use mine once, and then we're good. And then you pay from there on out. I gotta make
What a horrible friend. Hey, everybody talk shit in the comments. This guy's a fucking horrible friend. I got to charge all his buddies.
I gotta pay for this place, man. This place is not free. Oh.
Here.
Is that a gift card?
That's the gift card.
Hold on, yeah, you want to talk about horrible friend? This guy gets a $500 gift card for referring me to this place, and
Wait, you got a gift card?
Yeah, I got what did I get? A $15 Starbucks gift card for signing the lease on this place. Well, Chris gets a $500 gift card for referring me, and he couldn't even buy my fridge for me.
Sucks for you, man.
It does. It does. Well, guys, with that, I think hopefully tomorrow or the next day we're really going to get started on building that, and we'll see. We'll just see how long, you know. I think we're going to build one of the ideal pressure washer vehicle washing setups, so stay tuned for that. As always, if you guys have not subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button now. Don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up, and don't forget to check out workforapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you got to be willing to work for it. Chris, I know you drove all the way over here for this. Go ahead.
Roll the outro.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.